Hi, this is Master Kanbei, also known as Multi-Topic Talk. Today we have another guest, DPSI. You can present yourself.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. So I'm TPSI. I've been doing advanced voice by web for maybe like 3 or 4 years now, and I help run a few things as well as I have my own channel that I make videos about, and I love playing the game. So yeah, thanks for having me.
Thanks to you for coming in. So I will leave his channel in the description of the video, and we will just take a look to DPSI profile. Okay, you like to do Advanced Source by Web video stream. That's interesting. What was your most recent video about?
The last recent video was it's like a series I do called the Global League Review, where I do everybody has a Global League rating 7 to like 15, or I guess somewhere between 700 and 1500, and I show a little bit of the beginners, do some analysis, some of the intermediate players, do some game analysis, and then the best players on the site I review and show their stuff too.
Oh, that's interesting. I think the last one I've seen was like 700 or 800. So where is it now? 2000?
It got right now our highest is like 1550 or so, and
Okay,
I put out that video maybe a couple weeks ago,
okay,
maybe
that's good.
maybe 1 week ago. Yeah.
That's good. And I see a really good victory loss ratio. This is great. Uh, is it fog or standard or all different category?
Yeah, I've done all different categories. Lately, I've not played a lot of Fog. It used to be my best actually, but I took a long break. But yeah, I play all of them a bit.
Okay, that sounds good. And why is Sammy as your main character, most used character?
uh, I think that she's just a really fun and different choice in tier 2 standard, and that's why I pick her the most. As opposed to it just seems like she has to come up with some really creative solutions to fight Max, Eagle, and Olaf, and so coming up with those creative ways to win is really really fun for me.
And I see you don't like Flak or Jugger. Is it because you do mostly League, or it's because you just don't like them?
I kind of like them as a meme. Recently, I beat a hawk with flak, which felt pretty good.
Or Og, man. That guy must
Yeah,
feel like shit. I mean, you're
yeah.
good. You're good, but
There's
Flak.
a there's a new pecking order at Black Hole. Flak's on top now.
Oh my. And yeah, I think now we can go to the replay. Why did you pick Eagle?
Okay, so I mean, the first thing I usually think about if I'm gonna make if we're gonna do some sort of like analysis video, I usually want to think I don't want to ditto because it's like the considerations when it comes to CO matchups are not quite as interesting. So looking at this map, I see everywhere planes. I mean, lots of planes here, lots of planes here, lots of planes here. So to me, Olaf seems like a pretty good natural choice. And then I was thinking about who I wanted to pick into Olaf, assuming that you would go Olaf. And I thought that Eagle would be pretty fun, but it sounds like you went Eagle as well.
Yes, actually, I was hesitating. I was like, am I going Olaf? Am I going Eagle? But then I'm like, Eagle maybe will surprise him. So I wanted for the surprise choice, and apparently it did not because you thought the same. I guess you picked the same, so it kind of failed. And I will be honest with you, the moment I've seen you picking Eagle, I knew I had lost. Even coming in the game, I knew you were better than me, but now that it's crystal clear, I had no chance because it was a mirror match and I ate mirror match.
Well, and the Eagle mirror match is one where, it's really hard to pull off an upset unless you put in a ton of work, like calculating exactly when lightning strike happens.
Yeah, I've played in League a lot of Eagle mirror match, and I'm surprised all the time. And most of the time, I win my mirror match because my enemy usually is so far behind. His lightning strike give me mine, but then once we are back on even field, I push him enough to give him his lightning strike first again. So you see, most of the time on my Eagle mirror match, it's going well because people don't know how to use Eagle. At least in my tier of player, we should say, because on my other account I'm like 800 something, but to be honest, I'm very experienced, but I'm trash at this game. Like I'm really bad, but I understand the game well. So I think it's the difference between me and any other 800 that never played the game before. And yeah, usually Eagle match in my 800. Usually I win these, except if the guy is ranked like 1000 or 1100, stuff like that happens because reason.
Right, right. Well, I haven't played an Eagle mirror. I don't think I played an Eagle mirror in like over a year, I think. The last one I can remember was against Starduster, who's like, 1200 rated player. It was on a different account of his, and it was at a time where I felt he was a stronger player than me. And I very, very, very carefully planned out my moves when we were both right about to hit Lightning Strike. And I perfectly timed it, and I wiped with a really strong Lightning Strike that he didn't expect. So
Okay.
it's a yeah, sometimes the term they use in chess is sharp, right? Like
Yeah.
it's it what happens in the game is comes down to like walking on a tightrope, and eagle mirrors feel like that a lot.
Yeah. Because it's very different than a Olaf or another mirror match with any other seals will be very different than Eagles because Eagle is super. I feel like it's one of the best super in the game. That's why the mirror match are really different with that seal because one lightning strike can defeat the other player. So sometimes it comes to which player is getting his lightning strike first and which player does the better lightning strike out of the two.
Exactly.
So let's start this off. You are in control. We go at your speed.
Okay, so map considerations. I guess it's like a fairly standard fog match. Like the contested cities you usually think about are this guy, one of these, and that's three slightly contested cities. This guy can kind of go either way. So that's kind of where the action is probably going to happen in terms of property capture. Um, and then,
This gives me a question because for you, you see it as contested. Of course, it's depend on the way this player plays to have this building. But usually, most games I add this map, this building belongs to this side, and this building belongs to the other side. Of course, if this side really pushes toward here, it can easily get it. But I don't feel like it's as contested as, let's say, these four, because you got Mountaineer to slow down the player if he tries that. You got Mountaineer to slow down the other player. So I feel like it's not as contested as these four in the center. And anyway, aircraft can reach with ease this area, and aircraft can also do the same here. Well, if you try to reach with a transport or a helicopter, this one with this airport, good luck with it. It will crash or die in the middle of the battlefield. So that's why I'm surprised to see you telling this one and this one are contested.
I agree with everything you said. They're certainly a lot less contested than the other two, this one and this one. The only reason I mentioned it is because oftentimes, like, green will take this city, and then maybe, many turns down the line, there's an option to sneak around and sneak this city while all of these forces are occupied, or maybe all these forces go to the center. So there's options to like take the city back and forth over a long game. But you're right. Like it typically goes to one. It typically goes to green, this bottom one, and this one goes to orange at the beginning. That's how I usually see it. But I also haven't played this map that much. And then it has the potential to maybe swap. But yeah, so I think that's pretty much all the map analysis I can say. I'm not an expert on this map. I haven't played it in a while, so.
And I will tell you this: I'm colorblind, so sometime, and that was very hard to differentiate the characters. The only way I was able to truly know which side I was in is the direction the unit were pointing toward. That was the hint, but sometimes I was like, I need to click on the unit many times to realize it's mine or it's not mine.
Yeah, the colors are not right for colorblind people. Yeah. I mean, I'm not colorblind, and there are plenty of matchups that I specifically pick the color so that they're not close. But yeah, next time just let me know what colors are better for you, and we can do that.
That's fine. I'm not blaming you. It's just a fun fact that when this kind of matchup happens, it's like, okay, good luck finding which one.
Yeah. Bummer. Sorry about that.
No, that's
Okay.
fine. As I said, anyway, this game I mainly played for fun. That's also why I'm only 800. I'm not that competitive. I'm not like, oh, let's win this. Let's be the better. I know I won't be the better, but I try. But I try to improve. But I don't want to be the best. And there's always someone better than you. Like even first in the world, I'm pretty sure you lost to a few people. Of course, it's a few because that one is good, but. Do you get what I'm saying here?
I know what you mean. Yeah, it's kind of it's a difficult game to try to become best in the world, and even then, there's so many other people trying to do it. It's like, how do you know that? Why you, right?
Yeah, exactly. And even if you are,
Yeah.
that does not mean you cannot lose. Because if the person the player plays with other top 5 or top 10 or maybe even top 100, maybe the other player have a chance on winning if he just outsmart him or surprise him. Because sometimes one surprise can really flip the table.
Yeah, yeah. Although we do have, this is going slightly a little off topic, but there is one player I think who is like undoubtedly number one though, and that's actually Voice of Akasha, who hasn't, to my knowledge, lost a game of Advance Wars in like 2.5 years.
What? Oh.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
I'm serious. You want to?
Oh.
Okay, you know
I
the
don't
last time he
understand
lost.
that.
The last time he lost, he picked Grim into Rachel.
Wow! Wow!
That was the tournament game that he lost, and then the other 3 tournaments he entered, he all won. So yeah, I think Voice of Akasha is my number one.
Okay.
So I know that I'm not going to beat him anytime soon. So
Oh my, this is impressive.
okay, so I think here's the first break where we have some choices. So the first infantry that doesn't go for this base goes to the city. That's what I did too. I like that a lot. And then you captured the city first and then go this way. I also made that decision, I believe, right?
Yeah,
Hold
I
on.
think we did the same opening, but you start off with the extra infantry. That's why your capture game is a bit better.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I
Well,
think.
yeah, you're correct. The way it works is that on the side that I have the extra infantry at the beginning, I get a half turn ahead on that side. Whereas on the side where there's no infantry build, you're a half turn ahead on that side. So it's like each of us is a half turn ahead on half of the map.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me see here. So I think the first big decision is I decided to bring this guy back instead of forward. And then let's see if you make that decision too. You also decided to go back instead of forward. And then you capture airport, which I agree with. I think T-Copter had some potential, which is what I end up going for.
I forgot if I made a T capture that in this one. I think I did later
I don't
on.
remember seeing one.
I think I bought one later on the game, but I'm not quite sure. Usually I have APC faster, but sometime in this map, a transport. I use transport when Storm is authorized because Storm breaks the game. You can reach the airport like first turn, and, and third turn you can have your transport and then fit inside directly. This is so broken because Storm is authorized in this map for some reason. I don't know why. But usually when I'm not Sturm, I'm not a fan of T-Copter in this map.
Yeah. Well, that is interesting. I mean, I've played this map before as Sturm versus Von Bolt, and I thought Sturm was ultra good. I mean, this is also like 2 years ago.
He is
So
still
it's working
broken.
off.
Vumbolt
But
is probably Sturm worst nightmare, but this
yeah,
map you break so much the terrain with Sturm that you don't care and you have the edge pretty fast.
I got pretty wrecked by Von Bolt though as Sturm, so I don't know. Maybe I'm just a bad Sturm player, but so the match though, I kind of like the APC here. It looks like you're gonna get this infantry getting boosted to hit this city, which is pretty nice.
I forgot
And
which
then
boost I'm doing, but I do exactly what you're saying, but I don't know where I boost the infantry. I forgot that detail.
yeah, you have some other options too. So the APC is pretty cool for that reason. And it looks like there's all these cities over here that need to be had, so APC speeds up all of them. Okay, so instead of APC, I go tank first. So why did I go tank first? So it's actually a bit of an unusual move for me. Typically, when I play players that I've never seen their fog play before, I usually open up with a recon just to make sure nothing crazy is happening. Um, like sometimes you'll go in with a recon, and if all you see is infantry, you're like silently panicking because you're like, did they build a medium tank? Like, what's going on here? So this time I didn't go recon though. I just went tank. I don't remember exactly what I was thinking. I think the funds just lined up. If you see here, I ended my turn with exactly 0 gold, and
Yeah.
that's what you like to have. So I think I just saw an opportunity to build a tank and was like, heck with it. And then not only tank this turn, but next turn I'll have 600, which is enough for infantry recon. So I think I saw I'll go tank and then next turn recon, and both turns are as efficient buys as you could possibly get. And then the following turn, I'll have enough for a T-Copter, and then we'll just go from there. So that's just purely like a gold argument as to why I decided to do that, I think.
I did the same, or almost the same. Recon, infantry.
Yeah, recon, infantry. And then it's good that you're ending with like very, very little cash in the bank afterwards.
Yeah. I like to
It's just,
spend most money I can, because if you don't spend it
yeah,
all, you waste some.
exactly. It's just money it doesn't collect interest when it's sitting in the bank. Okay, so let's see. My turn. I build the recon down here. That makes sense. I want more infantry up here to like I don't have enough infantry to capture all these properties quickly. So another infantry here is nice. And then the recon down here also has all the fast roads and shoals to go on. So it can pretty immediately get to the front. And then the captures, I think, all make sense pretty much. Important detail is that instead of going for the comm tower, I go for the city because I don't expect to be fighting you in the next few turns. So
Yeah.
I'm okay with delaying the comm tower a little bit.
I think that's the classically most player do. Except when I'm Sturm, sometimes when I'm Sturm, I'm really scared to not get my com tower and I rush it. But usually I prefer funds than firepower because I feel like funds is just a bit better. And com tower are important because you don't have that many com tower in a map. But if you let me choose between funds or firepower, I think I would go anytime for funds.
Yeah, definitely in the short term. Yeah, and if there's no fighting on the map, then like the extra firepower doesn't really do much for you. So, okay, let me see what you're up to now. So, right, you went APC Recon, which I think is like a pretty solid order. The Recon sort of sniffs out what's going on over here. You can see how far it moves. And then the APC, of course, we already talked about.
Oh yeah, I did exactly what you said, and I think I placed the APC there as well because I wanted to load in the infantry. I also think this is why I placed that APC right there. I think this is what I did, or I forgot I wanted to do that on my next turn. We will see, because sometimes I plan on doing something but then I forget.
Yeah, relatable. Um, if it's okay with you, I'm just gonna click through the next turn to see. Okay, so that was your APC build, and then let me see what you do with your APC after this. So you load it in from there, and then where do you go? Okay, so you actually go back into the center and then threaten these two properties.
Yeah, is it
Okay,
good?
that's good.
That's good. Okay.
Yeah, that's better than some alternatives that I was thinking about. So when you're in when you're in this position, it's like you can think, oh, when this is not what you did, but some people can say like, okay, there's an infantry, there's an APC. I know I'm gonna put my infantry in the APC, and I'm gonna make it like land right on top of this city right here.
This is a trash movement because I can take it in 2 turn anyway.
Yeah, you're ahead of the game. Yeah, you're yeah, you know what's going on. Yeah. So
I
moving.
suck at this game, but as I said, I'm experienced, so I have still a good understanding. But I'm still trash at the game.
Yeah. You're not falling for the noob traps, which is awesome. So this infantry down here, option of this or this, and these two are kind of contested properties. So I like that move a lot with what you had. The other move I was thinking about looks like. Hold on, can I do move planner? See, I was thinking about get in here, boost out to here. I guess it doesn't really matter how you do it. And then recon goes here, and then infantry here. Okay, and then one of these two infantry loads in the APC next turn and then goes somewhere else. And I think that gets you this property, and this guy goes for this city, and you get a boost. So I think it's about the same. So no use in like, it's pretty sharp. So like the difference. So there's no point in dissecting it too much for this purpose, I think. But just another idea I was looking at. Okay, and now you go artillery. So I think this is the first move out of you that I think is maybe a little bit suspicious. So opening artillery in standard is typically like kind of a hard thing to do. And in fog, it's even a little bit harder. They don't get any vision.
Yeah.
You have to find really, really good locations for them to sit, and it's hard to get value out of them. So it looks like you didn't have money for a tank, but it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world.
That's why I went artillery, because when I have 8k, either I go transport to infantry or I go artillery to infantry. I already had the APC, so I felt like artillery was the better choice than the transport copter. Even if transport copter are really good, I feel like if you of other by transport. You don't have any firepower in the map, and now there's also the recon option. But the recon option, I'm not a fan of it. Like, a few recon is important in fog because you need vision, but I feel like if you got 2 or 3 recon as Eagle, this is overkill. You don't need that many recon, but this is the way I picture it. If you are Sturm, it's very different because Sturm don't care. He just send recon like anywhere he wants because they have truly 8 movement. But any other seal, recon are not that amazing. They're a good scout early in the game, but having too many recon is really bad, I think, if you're not Sturm. But that's my take on it. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm, as I said, I'm bad.
No, I agree. I agree. If building a recon here instead, I mean, in the first place, I think that if you open building recon and then immediately another recon and nothing else, it's a little bit scary because you have nothing to deal with tanks. And I also opened a tank first, so like recon into recon, this tank, I don't know it, but this tank can do anything it wants to, which is not great. So and then the artillery, well, we'll see how much value you get out of it. If I recall correctly, I think it kind of sat here, and I just ignored it.
Yeah, because
Um,
I wanted to hide it from you because the surprise archery is good, and if I send it on the front line, I need to make sure I shield it properly. But knowing you were better than me, I was really scared to place it like on the front line because I was like, it will just shut it down if I don't hide it and place it properly. You see?
yeah, exactly, and that's hard to do in non-fog too, which is when you have an early artillery. How do you get value out of it?
Yeah,
And then in fog, it just complicates things because it has less vision and all that stuff. So yeah, actually, my preference here is not to build artillery and to just build another infantry. So what does that leave you in terms of funds? So the artillery costs 6k, so you're gonna save 5k by building an infantry. So now you go over here, you're at 11 plus 5 is 16.
two
So the next turn
tanks.
you'll have 16k, which is a lovely number. Like 16 is awesome because you can do tank infantry, you can do anti-air tank infantry, you can do B-copter and recon. I guess that's not great, but the two tank option is really nice.
Yeah.
So I think that'd be my preference there.
With
Um,
16k,
oh yeah, let's
usually
keep an eye on the.
usually with 16k, I like the anti-air tank infantry, especially against Eagle. When I'm against Eagle, I like tank anti-air infantry with 16k. But usually I don't save that much money, so maybe I should save up more money to a better turn.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I kind of said two different things. I mean, on one hand, I said don't save, buy, and just now I said, oh, maybe it's time to save now. So, and the difference is that the reason I said that is because again, it's the unit that you're buying. The artillery and fog when you don't have any tanks on the field is pretty weak,
Yeah,
and it's hard to get value out of it. So
yeah.
that's the only reason I say that. Okay, so I make some capturing moves. And then this tank here made some kind of weird choices that, like, it decides to go over here. And that's like, you know what? Actually, I like it over here better. It could have just gone straight here. So he's just kind of exploring the background here. Not my finest hour.
The drunk
Um,
tank, the drunk tank pilot.
the tank driver went AWOL for a bit. so so yeah, don't do that. I think what I saw is I wanted to back up this. Let me just see it so that I have vision of my troops so I can. Okay, I wanted this tank to be here so that this infantry could safely go for this capture. Although even then, this tank is a little early, so the tank could be like in this forest just chilling. And then next turn, I go for the cap, move my tank onto the HQ, and then cover this city. Because my idea here is I want to take this city because it's one of the contested ones, and I'll back it up with the tank. So
Yeah.
that's the idea. It's just in a very literally roundabout way. That's how it happened. Okay, and then I decided to go T-Copter. Slightly spicy decision. There are probably better things to buy. For instance, I could do artillery here, which is pretty okay because I already have a tank. And this spot is pretty nasty for an artillery.
This is true. I never realized how good this is, but you are right. This is like the perfect spot. Here and there. These are the two places.
Exactly. Yeah. So maybe I was slightly too harsh with your artillery build, but like this, maybe in like 3 turns or 2 turns, the artillery build I think is right on the money.
Yeah.
Okay, so some ending turns, and then we'll see what you do here. Okay, so the recon makes a really passive move and sits in the forest. I think that I mean, you don't have a tank backing it up, so you kind of have to calculate this by hand. But you could like make the estimation that I probably don't have a tank ready to hit this city, so like maybe recon here on this city could be good.
Okay.
You can be like slightly more aggressive. A good way to like get an approximation for where stuff should be in the early game is just look at your own side of the board. So if you like look down here, it's like I want to park my recon on this city right here. Okay. Yeah. So where is that city? It's way down here. Like I don't have vision of it. It's really far out of the way. I would have had to build a tank here and then move it up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I would have had to build a tank here and then move it a full turn before I could hit that.
Okay.
So it's a little bit risky to go here. I could have rushed out a tank and been ready for it, I think. But it's okay to like occasionally take small risks for extra vision because with the extra vision you would have seen this guy. You would have seen this guy moving over to cap. So yeah, like it's okay to take minor risks like that.
Okay. Here's my thought process. I like recon, doing recon stuff and scouting. I don't use recon to be aggressive except if I am Storm or seals like Grim, Jess, because I know they have extra firepower to back it up, and Storm have the extra movement to run away and do it and run. That's why these are like the top 3 seals I would use recon with. I did not mention Max because I think Max is trash, but that's another topic for another day. Yeah, recon, I usually use them for intel, and sometimes when I have other units, I do some push with recons, but only if I have other units. Like in this case here, I don't have any tank behind or other NTR or recon, so I won't use that recon for push, but for intel.
Okay, yeah, I mean that's like a fair way to start off, and yeah, in the 800s, I think that'll be fine. I guess I just suggest that you move somewhere that isn't just one tile forward with the recon, with your first recon. I think your first recon should be able to move around a bit, try to find stuff to look at. Just kind of like sticking your recon out there and then waiting for me to show up is a little bit passive when it's your first recon.
Okay.
At least in my opinion. Yeah, exactly. Because the other thing is, like, even if I do hit it with a tank, it's like 3 HP recon still does a lot of really good stuff.
Yeah,
exactly. It just doesn't interrupt infantry as well, which is not even its strongest thing it does in the first place.
Yeah.
Okay, and I see you get a tank here, which is great. Definitely the right move because tanks in Fog of War are busted.
In all mode, they are busted. Yeah. You need tanks.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
There was a
You
time
know,
when
there's
I
actually
started.
somebody.
When I started, I thought tanks were not good enough, but then I realized they were OP. But when I started, I was a big artillery fan, so I would just artillery spam. And then one day I realized artillery are good if they have other stuff with them, not only them. You see?
Yeah, artillery spam loses to B-copter spam,
Yeah,
right?
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. You got it right.
Yeah. Okay, so here the main highlight is that I go for a B-copter. I think that by many people's fog standards at top level, this B-copter is pretty early,
Yeah,
which
but
I
it's
agree
Eagle.
with.
It's Eagle. You don't care about that. It's Eagle. That's a good play, I think.
Yeah, Eagle B-copter is pretty good. I guess the main benefit that it can do is Eagle B-copter plus Eagle tank versus an Eagle tank on a city that KOs a lot of times, especially with a tower. I think it
Yeah.
KOs every time. So it's a nice little combo. Um, all right, so let's take a look at the end of your turn, and then let's see if you get the map control that we're looking for. Okay, so you leave the recon here. So I think, I guess what I want to point out is like, look at how, I have a fair few unit. The map is divided in half like this, and um, it's my turn to move. So you've already moved. It looks like I have more control of the center than you do.
Yeah.
And that's because I took the more aggressive builds of tank and recon. It's only these two early builds that I built that are like giving me this pressure. And currently, you have a tank that actually could have gone here actually to give you a little bit more control over the center, but I think that's also an all right square.
My
Just kind
my
of depends on
uh
what you
my
want to
thought
do.
process there, I wanted to surprise you because I felt like I had no clue where were your units because you're good and you can surprise me anytime. So I was like, I will hide my tank. When I have enough vision, I will send my tank elsewhere. I think that was my thought process at that point.
Okay, yeah, that's fair enough. Try to like hide your hand and then surprise me with an ambush.
Yeah.
So I actually decided to strike first, though. Um, so this is kind of like one of those risks. This is like a kind of a risky move here. What I decided to do is I move in with the recon and I take the first shot. Okay, okay. So I do 5 damage, but look what I see. I see an artillery really far forward. And at that point, I was like, "Yummy, yummy, 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 yummy! Give me all this stuff." So like,
I
like I
think that's
see this art.
also I think that's also why I retreat to the forest afterward because I'm like, I have an artillery, so let's remove it out of the way.
Yeah, yeah, because I know for sure. I'm looking at this artillery and I was like, okay, this has to be a really early artillery. It has to move 2 times in order to reach this square. Like, he must not have. He has like one other tank that could be in the center, and otherwise it's free. So I'll keep my tank back and I'll attack with recon infantry. Okay, doesn't kill because they don't have the tower, but normally it kills. So I was slightly annoyed about that because 1 HP infantry are like ultra busted.
They go to the forest and wait to trap someone.
Exactly, exactly. It's so annoying.
Chill in the forest, trap something.
Yeah. But you can actually sort of see here the cohesiveness of having the B-copter build. The B-copter, oops, the B-copter covers everything. Like literally all of my troops are covered by a B-copter.
Yeah.
Um, so that's a nice, like instant, give me some give me some map control with that. And actually, you went with a pretty early anti-air, which ended up being excellent.
Yeah.
So great job with stiffing that out. I typically am greedy with my anti-air builds. I tend to like if you
Wait
built your
and see.
anti-air here, I would have delayed my anti-air at least another turn.
Yeah. I don't
So
like to do that. As I always say to everyone, even those who don't agree with anti-air early, I tell them I don't like battle copter surprise, especially eagle battle copter. I want to be ready to crush any battle copter assault. That's why usually very early in the game, after my first tank, I always have an anti-air. Or sometime, if I have the money, I have anti-air and tank the same turn if I also have enough money for an infantry. But usually my anti-air is like my build right after the tank.
okay, yeah, fair enough. And definitely when you're fighting eagle, that your instincts seem to be correct there. So good job with that one. Okay, you're moving. Okay, good. Okay, so you actually decided to join cap here. All right, so let me see what you see here. Okay, so you see infantry, recon, and then you decide to join cap. So I guess first of all, I'm not a huge fan of the join cap because uh, it's only 1 HP on the city
Yeah,
that you're, if you move the 1 HP guy off and then recapture with this infantry, the difference is 1 capture point.
yeah,
Um, but it comes at the cost of losing your 1 HP warrior, right?
yeah.
And so typically I value like 1 HP units. I would value a 1 HP unit higher than 1 capture point. So I would probably, if I wanted to do that, I would move this guy off and then recapture with this infantry.
Okay.
Um, but I think I don't know. It's pretty ambitious to recapture here because you
I
see
wanted
these
you
three
to
guys
use two
here.
units, but when I look back, I feel like I should have removed my infantry and then attack your infantry with my 10 HP. Or do the reverse. I attack from the road, even if it's a road and it's shit. The first strike on an infantry reduce the capture rate. But this is just when I look back. Because as I said, I like to first strike infantries.
Yeah, I mean, I
'Cause,
mean,
if
the best case scenario you could imagine is you could do that and that. Um, like this is probably the best case scenario you'll see.
yeah.
So I'll never kill this infantry, right?
But you can, because you got a battle copter and a tank in the background, so you kill the 8 HP and then you kill the infantry, but that would
Yeah,
cost a
I
lot
guess
of units.
what I'm trying to figure out is if there's a way for me to hit your artillery because it's in a forest.
Yeah.
So you could do I guess I could do that. Yeah, I don't see a way for me to hit your artillery.
Okay.
And this guy would have been down here, and this guy would have been here. So yeah, actually, that putting the artillery in the
That could have
forest and
been good.
attacking seems like a
Okay.
possible option there.
I was chicken. I
But
was scared. I was like, if I place it there, he will find a way and he will destroy it.
yeah, well,
But
maybe
when you show me what he did, I like it. That's what I should have done.
yeah, and that's actually like the perfect way of engaging that artillery immediately.
Yeah.
Now I would have seen that. I would have seen the artillery move in. I would have calculated. Okay, I see all your stuff. I know where everything is. I can't hit your artillery, so I'm just gonna go do something else. So it would have stopped the engagement. Um, if I was feeling risky, maybe I get a pot shot on your infantry with my B copter. But otherwise it's like this capture gets delayed, but it saves you from disaster. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So like it's all right. So what you do instead is kind of like a half attack. You like make this sort of you move these two infantry up with some units supporting from like really far behind, which is sometimes the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Um,
I was blind. I had no intel on what you had, so I was really scared. And I knew you were better than me, so maybe there was some kind of mental block. But yeah, I'm like, what do I do with this?
yeah, maybe this recon could have jumped down here a little bit and try to see a little bit more.
Yeah.
Um, so I guess
Usually I don't do that because, as I told you, when my recon is just a normal recon, I like it for intel. I'm not that aggressive with only a recon just like that. Because I think recon true value is really the intel in FUG. In standard, it's very different. You use recon to be aggressive and take down infantry, but in FUG, this is the way I see it. Recon, if they are alone, they are there for intel, and if there are other units around, then you can use recon to be aggressive.
for sure, I think that I agree with. Yeah, maybe the one way I would change that is saying that like in fog, a recon's damage output is not as important as its intel gathering, right?
Yeah,
And that's basically what you've said.
yeah,
Um,
exactly.
so maybe the way I would say that then is like if you feel blind here and you really don't know what to expect, then
I
like
send it down.
sacrifice some damage on the recon by putting it here, maybe.
I think I do it later on, or I do it with the other recon.
Oh,
And I
okay,
think this
you
is
do.
also why I made the second recon, because I felt blind.
Yeah, and the nice thing about having multiple recons is like you can kind of go in slightly deep,
Yeah,
and it's okay if you lose a recon because you have another recon.
yeah,
So okay, so anyways, this is what you decided to do. I guess one thing I do like about this is you go for both contested property captures at once, with maybe the hope that well, if I don't get one, then I'll probably get the other, right?
yeah. My
Okay,
point here
so
is mainly to force you to use your unit to cancel my cap, and then maybe counterattack my tank, anti-air, and other infantries. I think that was my plan, but I
mhm.
forgot. It's been a while. Like it's been like 3 days, and I already forgot about that game because I'm playing like 40 game at once.
Yeah, it's busy. Well, and you could see I'm only playing like I was only playing like 2 games at once, and I forgot to capture my tower before I made the hit. So the classic. Okay, and
I
let's
like
see. Did I
action.
capture?
That's why I play that many games. I don't like having only 2 games, and I find that boring. I need action. That's why I have like 3 accounts. I have 2 account for my global league, and 1 account for casual like now.
Yeah, when I have like more free time, it's just like when I have too many games, I just kind of obsess over them, and then it's like that's all I do, and I just can't do that all the time. Okay, so the way that I proceed here is like kill both of these infantry, and then I kind of intentionally do it so that I shield the B copter from any anti-air that might be over here,
Yeah.
which is lucky because there's one right here. So
You did the right thing.
lucky me. And at the same time, I also 2-hit KO'd this infantry and then started capturing.
Yeah.
Like, I think an important detail about these two attacks is that both times I ended with pretty good control over the city, because
Yeah.
it's really annoying to like clear a city and then to get punished for it. Like this tank comes down onto the city and hits my recon, and then it's like, how do I deal with your city on a tank?
Yeah.
Your tank on a city. So, so like an important attacking detail is like whenever you can, secure the cities that you're clearing so that they're not a platform for your opponent to attack from.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I do some nonsense with this T-copter that isn't actually good. But
So what were we saying before the huge crash that happened?
I was talking about how bad my T-copter optimization was.
Okay. So now you should be in control again. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, I think we were right here. Okay, we were right here, and I was talking about how this was bad. And then this guy moves up, and then I see a recon. So, okay, all right. So this is like another one of those sort of like fog intel things. I see recon. I know about early artillery, and I know about your APC. So I'm like, there's no way you have that many vehicles because like it's a lot of stuff that's just kind of sitting there that isn't tanks on the main front. So I know that I have a turn or two to like mess around with tank, B-copter, recon. So that's kind of my game plan going forward for the next turn. That kind of probably even tells me that it's okay to take this capture because it's like, what are you going to do? Interrupt me and then I kill all your stuff. So that's kind of where my mind's at right now. So in the meantime, you had everything protected for like a kind of a deeper push, but I went with the sort of outside one. But if I remember correctly, you find some good moves. I think there's an attack. Do you kill my B-copter this turn, or is that next turn?
Now,
Okay, so
now I did take up because I knew I was behind you in terms of tanks. So I was like, okay, I will be the first one to take up. So that was my thought process.
I think it was good. It caught me by surprise, as we'll see in a turn or two. But there is like a small amount of counterplay to the early medium tank, which I think I do. I don't really remember how this goes, but I see all this stuff down here, and I'm like, okay, I think I'm gonna kill it. So I kill this infantry.
Shooting season.
Yeah, exactly. I even get a really lucky 9-4 split. That's crazy.
Yeah, this is like the highest roll you can get. And now I cry because I realized I lost my recon.
Yeah. And then I do my... Oh, yeah, because it's a trap. Yeah, that's right. So what I do with my B-copter here, I actually heard DJs talk a lot about this in his videos, and I wanted to try it out, which is just like let your B-copter be spotted and then like run away and hit somewhere else.
Yeah.
So that's kind of an idea that I wanted to test out there.
Speaking about DJs, before his video about APC, I kept trashing APC because I was like, APC are trash. But then I've seen his video about APC and I decided APC were worth it.
Yeah, like this guy right here.
Yeah. So now, instead of finishing off unit, I was like, I will damage the economy by damaging several infantry. Since I am already losing the capture game, I will at least deny you buildings by damaging several infantries. So that was my thought process.
But how did you see this guy?
I don't know, maybe there's a glitch on the replay. How did I see it? I really don't know. I think my infantry in the front got trapped.
It's supposed to move here.
Yeah, it got trapped.
Maybe maybe the trap animation doesn't display or something.
Yeah, I got trapped.
That
Yeah.
would. There it is. There it is. Okay. Okay, so I think actually this artillery, you've committed, I mean, a lot of your army to this attack. I think the artillery needs to be down, maybe onto the city, maybe down here and hit this city. But I think your artillery needs to be more involved.
Okay.
But I do think it's correct for you to hide your anti-air.
Yeah, this is
Um,
what D just told me. Don't send your NTR on the front line, so I stopped doing it.
yeah, exactly, exactly. I
They
think
are
that's sound
there to
advice.
zone out copters. They're not there to kill infantry.
Yeah. Okay, but I'm just like optimizing, getting this hit right here for, well, the medium tank's gonna hit it, but what seems like for free is pretty good. Um,
No, I
and
cried
then,
because I'm losing my recons.
yeah, both recons dead is not a fun time. So now you're down to 0 recons, it looks like.
That was a crazy turn for you.
Yeah, that was quite a lot of value suddenly. We can take a quick look at the numbers to see how that looks. So let's do the beginning of your turn. So I'm at 30 units, and you're at 19, which is a pretty big swing. I'm up a bit in terms of value.
A bit. It's almost twice.
Okay, a bit and a half,
A bit and a
and
half.
then probably the most worrying out of all of these is that in addition to all of that, I'm up by 5k in income.
Yeah, at that point I
So
knew you were ahead of me in terms of income, and I was like, oh yeah, I lost. But I still kept going for a few turns because I was like, maybe Lightning Strike will save me. Just maybe if I have my Lightning Strike before him. Just maybe.
well, that's the thing. It's like if you're losing, if you're losing a lot of value, then you should get lightning strike first. But actually, that's something that I have been thinking more about, which is if you're in like a lightning strike versus lightning strike situation, instead of going for like trades that give you extra value, go for trades that give you extra unit count.
Yeah.
So like prioritize getting a higher unit count than like having a crazy high value swing.
Yeah.
At least try that preference and then see how it goes. Was my thought at least. So you actually go in with the anti-air here, hitting an infantry, and it looks decently exposed. So we'll see how well you shield it. I don't really remember what happens.
I don't think I shielded because I think at that point I knew I lost, and that was just a desperate player trying to do something.
Well, this was a free medium tank shot, which is really nice. Okay, again, the artillery being pretty meek here.
It's
I think
scared.
artillery needs to be. It is scared.
It's
Needs to be a
like
brave artillery.
he's like, I don't want to die. I'm too young.
It's literally your oldest vehicle. How is it that young?
It's
It's
like
had its
11
time.
years old. No, mate, never mind. It's like 10 days old, man. It's young.
10 days old. A day is a year on the battlefield. Wait, what? Okay. So I like this. Like this, if you feel like you're kind of losing, might as well like go for the style points of the second medium tank. Like unironically a good move because I did not see that coming at all. Uh,
And I
when
was like,
I,
I can't compete with him with tanks, so I need medium tank.
I mean, hey, it makes sense to me. Okay, and then I decided to kill some stuff. Okay, so I go kind of deep with this B copter.
because I see the anti-air and I'm like, that's got to be the only one, right? And then so I'll just go deep. I know that you can't hit me, and then I look more carefully and I'm like, wait, what?
What?
It's not the correct movement. This anti-air should be able to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah,
And I
that's
saw
great.
that. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty strange.
I think I should be able to.
Maybe you've overheated Advanced Wars by Web. Okay, and then I built an artillery earlier too. Like clump of units, 2 forests that are great. Seems like a good idea. And then of course, like I pointed this out earlier, but if these 2 artillery are up in front like this, kind of in the action, then even if they get hit, it's like it means a tank's not getting hit. So it's not the worst thing in the world if you commit a full army and both of your artilleries get shot. Okay, so let's slow down for just a second. So I sort of glob up in the center. And then what do you have? I guess a few free shots, but since I see the medium tank, my artillery is covering my important units for the most part. And then my tanks are kind of going northish to sort of get out of the way of the medium tank. Okay, a bunch of moves. Okay, that one annoyed me a bit when I saw that. I was like, why did that one die? It was like in the middle of a big army. How did you do that? So yeah, I was slightly peeved. You did a bit of mental damage there.
And I was actually shocked I was able to do this. I was like, really? This really happened?
Yeah. So then, in response to mental damage, I just decided to do some mental damage back.
Oh, this is getting spicy. And we're thinking of this year. Oh my. This game, I think it's the best game I've played.
What an excellent time.
Oh my.
So I'm thinking I'm kind of peeved, I'm still angry that I lost my artillery. And I'm looking at this meter and I'm like, I could do it, right?
So you suck tanks.
I think I could do it. So then I move over here, hit some APCs, sack a tank. And I'm looking at this and I'm like, okay, I stop for a second and I'm like, wait a minute. Okay, there's like a little bit left. There's like a little bit of APC. I have like 2 opportunities. This better work. Please work. And then I see the artillery and I'm like, what are you doing, buddy?
Oh my.
And then I get my super.
And then I die because you got your
And then, yeah. And I move a lot.
And this is the end.
Yeah, and this is the end.
Wow. I resign.
And you resign immediately, yep.
That lightning strike was crazy. Oh man. You sacked so many units to get it, but then you won. I feel sorry for
That's
all
how
of
she goes.
these people that died for you, man. These people were innocent and you sent them to die because you wanted lightning strike.
I mean, they're all Eagle troops. They like lightning strike even more than I do.
Anyway, I enjoyed my time. Maybe not the game. I prefer the replay commentary than the game because it's much more fun. But what were your thoughts at the end?
Thoughts at the end? I thought it was fun. Yeah. I think that the game demonstrates a few like opening fog principles. Maybe the biggest highlight was I got a lot of value out of pushing into your artillery that was kind of scared to commit. It was scared of commitments, maybe like just didn't really feel like marriage yet, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, so I was able to take advantage of that, and then that led to a pretty dominating board state where I controlled a lot of the contested cities. And then I saw the opportunity to like sack for lightning strike and just completely end it with style.
So I think you're really a strong player because that's one of the shortest game I had in the replay commentary with another YouTube creator. So I'm telling you, you are really strong, or maybe I'm really trash, one of the two, or maybe both. But you are really a good player, man. I'm surprised. So is there any video you would like to plug, or any tips you would like to add up?
Let's see. So I guess yeah. I mean, check out my channel. Like I do replay commentaries, kind of like this. I mean, I'm probably up to like 40 videos or maybe 60 or something. And the nice thing about, I think, the format that I do the most of is the league review. I think it has a little bit of something for everybody, in that like if you're a beginning player, you get to hear me talk about some of the fundamentals, or if you're like an advanced player, you get to see some cool games with some commentary. So I think that I think it has like a fair number of options for people to and ways for people to engage with it. So yeah, maybe check that out. But otherwise, man, just keep playing Advance Wars. It's fun stuff.
That was good. Thank you for coming by. I really enjoyed the replay commentary, as I mentioned. A lot of new intel gathered during that replay. A lot of knowledge acquired. That's good. You have wisdom.
It's only through the people that I've learned from as well. So it's a tree that goes deep.
Yeah. So before we close, anything else to add?
No, yeah, thanks so much for having me on. This was a really fun time.
Thanks for you to take your time to do that replay commentary. So anyway, I hope guys enjoyed. A like, comment, and subscribe. You can also find DPSI channel in the description below. Lots of good content. I've watched a few videos, but not a lot because there's so many content creators. I have so many stuff to do, but sometimes I drop by and watch some video. So you should do the same. Very interesting content.